Matthew chapter 15, verse 21. It's a story out of the Bible that we're all familiar with. This is about receiving. So it starts at Matthew chapter 15, starting at verse 21. It says, "Then Jesus went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Sidon." Could he just as easily say Watts or Compton or Beverly Hills or Pacific Palisades, Rancho Palos Verdes? Doesn't really matter. He encounters people wherever they live. I'm talking about Jesus Christ. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coasts and cried unto him. Why is that important? Well, because she's not a Jew. She's not a Jew. Saying, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David, my daughter is grievously vexed with the devil." And he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, "Send her away, for she crieth after us." But he answered and said, "I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Then came she and worshipped him, saying, "Lord, help me." But he answered and said, "It is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs." And she saith, "Truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table." Then Jesus answered and said unto her, "O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt." And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. There's a number of remarkable things in this particular episode. First of all, this is a woman who is not a Jew. You can read that today, not a Christian. And she's coming to Jesus. And she's got a problem. And the remarkable thing is, Jesus helps her. Why is that remarkable? Well, because the first thing most people would think is, well, why should he help her? She's not a believer. Except that isn't the heart of God. It says even in the Old Testament, the sun shines on the righteous and the unrighteous. He created us all in his image and likeness. Of course, he likes us all. Not likes us, he loves us all. He loved us enough to die on the cross for us when we didn't know him and didn't want to. He died for everyone, and it's only a few that accept him, but he doesn't love us any less. It's remarkable because this is a woman who, not being a believer, was able to receive from God. And it's remarkable because there's lots of believers that can't receive from God. There's a lot of believers in this room that can't believe from God, that can't believe and receive from God. This can cause jealousy. This can cause all kinds of issues. So what's the deal? It's an interesting question. So we're going to look into this. Why is this woman who isn't a believer able to receive, and some of us who are Christians not be able to receive? So we see she's a woman of Canaan, came out of the same coast and cried on him. She came to him. She didn't know him. Obviously she heard about him, and she came for help. How often do we go to Jesus for help?
Amen.
I'm not talking about complaining to him. That's a whole different issue. I'm talking about actually coming to Jesus to ask him for help. This woman, not knowing God, still came to him for help because she knew he had something. Saying, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil." Well, that's nice. She said what her problem was, but she didn't ask for anything. Now, like I said, a lot of people go to Jesus, complain about the situation, but they don't tell him what the problem is, and they don't ask for a solution. They just come to complain. Sometimes people need to vent, and I can tolerate some venting, but I don't put up with it for too long because I want to focus on what the problem is. So I tend to get kind of blunt and say, okay, so what's the problem? And what do you want me to do about it? Because if you come just to complain, I don't want to listen to it. If it's just about complaining, it means you really don't want to fix your situation. And nobody else can fix your situation for you. That's just the way it is. Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. He doesn't answer because there's nothing to answer. There's no question here. Sometimes people come to me and they'll give me something like that and they look at me and it's like, you didn't ask me a question. If you want feedback, ask me a question, I'll give you an answer. But he answered her not a word. There's no question. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, so obviously there was some time elapsed here, saying, send her away, for she cries after us. In other words, when he didn't answer, she went after his disciples. And she was bugging them. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. This is absolutely true. This was his purpose. He was sent to minister to the Jews. Just makes a statement. Doesn't actually answer anything to her. He's actually speaking more to his disciples than to her, because of course she had left off him, was on the disciples. So he's answering his disciples that, I came to minister to the lost sheep of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him and said, Lord, help me. Why is this important? There's two very important things happened here. First of all, she acknowledged him as Lord. Why is that important? Don't think you can come into the presence of God and treat him like a flunky. Well, you owe me this. He doesn't owe you anything. Actually, he owes all of us eternal damnation for the sins that we've committed against him. That's the only thing he owes us. His mercy has overridden that, and he died on the cross for that. But we don't owe, he doesn't owe us anything. So we have to acknowledge, first of all, that he's God. And he's a merciful God. And then the second thing that was really important, she asked for help. And if we want something from God, we have to first of all acknowledge that he's God. And when we do that, we acknowledge that we're not. Because more often than not, we're trying to fix things. And we want him to co-sign our fixing, even when it gets worse. And then we get angry with God sometimes because we figured he co-signed the deal, and God was the furthest thing from our mind altogether. And then when it gets into trouble, then we get angry with God because he didn't do what we expected him to do, or he didn't let us do what we expected to do and leave him out of it. That's just not how it works. So she comes at two very important things. Lord. She acknowledged him as God. By doing that, she had to acknowledge that she wasn't. And she says, help me. She doesn't even exactly say what the help she needs because she's not even quite sure. How do you fix a problem that you can't identify? How do you fix a demonic problem? A supernatural problem needs a supernatural fix. So she says, Lord, help me. Real simple. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast the dogs. That's a tough one. By implication, he just called her a dog. She's a female, so it could be even worse. We leave it at that. The point being, he was not kind. And sometimes when God is dealing with us, he's not kind. He's just not kind. Why is he not kind? Because he's dealing with our pride. You notice everyone that came to him humble, he never dealt with them like that. He has no problem dealing with pride that way. So, at first she comes, she talks, but she doesn't ask for anything. Then she understands she's got to ask for something, and she asks for it. She asks with the right hand attitude, but she's still got an issue with pride. And so Jesus addresses the pride first. Now we're talking about how you can get answers to your prayer, because it works the same way. This is a non-believer, and it works for him, it's going to work for you too. It says, it's not meet to cast the children's bread to dogs. Dealing with her pride. Now that stung. That's like a slap in the face. And a lot of people would get angry. Want to strike back. Maybe want to leave Christianity. Whatever. But what does she do? She's got her eyes, she's focused. She's got her eye on the problem, which is her daughter. So she sets her pride aside. What does she do? Truth, Lord. Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall